And we are back, BKNY, the beautiful Barclays Center, the host site of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. We're ready for the nightcap. You're watching this event. It's presented by Northwestern Mutual. Stanford rolls over UNLV, and now it is the fourth-ranked Blue Devils of Duke taking on the Temple Owls. And hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Steve Smith and Greg Anthony. Seth Davis is with us as well. And this should be an interesting matchup here. Short drive for Philly fans there. Temple coming up to Brooklyn. But, Greg, the Duke Blue Devils are a show to watch, and they're bringing their show to the big city here tonight.
Loaded. Really as good a freshman class, if not the best in all of America, led by Jahlil Okafor. But what makes this team special, I believe, are some of the veterans they bring back from a year ago, in particular Quinn Cook and then also Emil Jefferson. Those two guys really give great balance, and Quinn Cook is just having an unbelievable start to the year. Already leads them career-wise in assist-to-turnover ratio, been even better this season. And Emil Jefferson now playing his natural position, not having to battle at that 5, playing more of that swing and power forward position, Smitty. Really playing some solid basketball for this team, and they have a great chance, I think, to win it all this year.
All right, talk to us about Temple, Smitty.
Well, you start with Temple, you start with the coaching staff. Fran Duffy's done an excellent job at Temple, but he has to go as well as his guards go. You talk about Will Cummins and Quentin DeCosi, two guys who's got to carry the load, not only from the scoring part for the Temple Owls, but I think also rebounding, assists, but also leadership. These two guys have to be determined to lead this young group to get them back on the winning track.
All right, little nugget on Temple. They have won against a top 10 team 5 of the last 6 years. Unlikely they've ever faced a player of the caliber of Jahlil Okafor. With more on his story, especially the expectations set by his coach. We check in with Seth Davis.
Yeah, Brian, I spoke with Mike Krzyzewski earlier today about the need to keep Jahlil Okafor out of foul trouble. Every team that Duke plays, their top priority is going to try to sit the big fella on the bench. Now, you might think this means that Okafor should be a little bit cautious on the defensive end, going for block shots and not commit those fouls. What Krzyzewski said is his greater concern is Okafor committing offensive fouls, because teams are going to send doubles at him, defenders from all different directions, try to confuse him. So what you'll see tonight, a lot of times when Okafor catches the ball, he's going to wait a beat or two to assess the situation and not commit silly offensive fouls. That's part of the growth process for this young man. He's very big, he's got big expectations, and he is a big, big talent.
And you don't hear the superlatives come from Mike Krzyzewski like he is delivering with Okafor. And just watching this guy in the early season, he looks like he is going to be a real treat this year in college basketball, which will probably be his only year in college basketball. There is Fran Dumphy's got his Movember mustache going. 9th year at Temple, 17 seasons at Penn. He and Mike Krzyzewski were teammates at the United States Army on a traveling squad. They go way back. Here's his starting 5 here tonight. Smitty talked about the backcourt there with Will Cummings and Quentin DeCosi, Daniel Dingle, the junior forward. Mark Williams brings a big body and a lot of length from Devontae Watson. That's how the Owls will start him, and the 3 fantastic freshmen in the Duke Blue Devils starting lineup with Justice Winslow, Tyus Jones, and of course, Jahlil Okafor. Mike Krzyzewski, great work not only, of course, as a college basketball coach, but this event, Coaches versus Cancer Classic. He was part of the original bringing together of this Coaches versus Cancer charity. 4-time a national championship winner, and he is excited about the ball club he has this season. All right, we're ready to go to tip at the nightcap. Okafor and Watson go up, and Duke will have the first possession. John Floyd, DJ Carstensen, Paul Faya, 3 officials. Okafor gets the first chance and delivers on it.
Well, folks, if you haven't had an opportunity to see Jahlil Okafor, as gifted and skilled a big as we've had in the game of college basketball in many a year, and a prototype, back to the basket player with a terrific feel and understanding in terms of spacing and footwork. Just a joy to watch.
Well, very few like him in college basketball through the years. You got to go back into some of the all-time greats. We'll see if he lives up to those expectations. There's Watson. That's going to be a great matchup early. Little turnaround jump hook for Devontae Watson and Smitty. Temple, they're struggling putting the ball in the basket, but this is a team that could use a lift from somebody like Watson.
Yeah, they have to get some inside presence. As you can see, you don't want to get those cheap fouls. You know, from Watson, did a nice job using his length. Obviously undersized as far as weight going up against Okafor, but get your body in between them and a nice little jump hook.
Watson, 6'11", out of Ambridge, Pennsylvania, commits the first foul. There is Quinn Cook. Not only do the Blue Devils have what it takes inside to do serious damage, but they can fill it up from behind the arc as well. They are a multifaceted, multi-talented team. Very disappointing first-round loss for Duke last year. Mercer knocked them out. And Coach K has had 2 first-round exits in the last 3 years, only 4 throughout his 35-year career at Duke.
Which is unbelievable. But this group, defensively, too, we haven't talked about a lot, but as good as he's had in maybe a decade in terms of just the individual defense. And there you see, able to defend throughout the entire shot clock. 3 seconds left here for Temple to try to get a shot off.
You talk about defense, GA, and you know this best. Your UNLV running Rebels team defied the way you get in the stands defensively. All 5 guys stay in the stance for the entire shot clock. And you know, a lot of young guys want to raise up, but they stay locked and loaded on keeping themselves in the stance and also seeing man and ball.
And I think it'll be a challenge in this game because Fran Dunphy's teams typically like to play late in the shot clock, and they rely on defensive breakdowns at times by the opponent.
Justice Winslow denied. A couple of good defensive plays by Temple as Dingle kicks it to the corner for Will Cummings, and his shooting woes continue in the 3rd game of the season. Dump it into Okafor and pivoted himself right out of the paint. And that's stripped away. Cummings on the steal. Here's DeCosi, one of Smitty's guys in our open. And that's going to be a block.
And there could be continuation. I've actually thought that Jones had pretty good position there. Great job of anticipation. Watch, he gets to that left. But a lot of times the officials' angle when they make that call determines which way they go. And fortunate break there for Temple.
Stanford won the opener of our doubleheader. They rolled over UNLV. So the winner,
keep saying that. they snuck
the
by.
winner
They snuck by.
of this game will match up with Stanford. This very sensitive running Rebel sitting next to me is DeCosi, a little long and coming away with the board. Quinn Cook going to push it all the way, and the finger roll not there. And Okafor can't finish. And we'll see how the Owls do in transition. DeCosi, a tough matchup with Jefferson.
Good one-on-one defense in transition by Jefferson. Not to foul, also be able to contest and stayed in position. Good job by Jefferson.
And also, early on, impressed with the attack of Temple defensively. They've been very active with the hands and also done a good job on the defensive backboard and also trying to get out in transition to get some easy ones and not have to face that set defense.
Temple off to a 2-0 start, but they won their first game over American 40-37. Then they scored 82 points in their second game. Justice Winslow on the move. He's fouled. And every one of these Duke Blue Devils can go coast to coast. Winslow not getting as much of the spotlight as Okafor, but he is every bit the talent.
Yeah, Smitty, this is one of my favorite players, Justice Winslow. You remember Reed Travis from earlier. This guy, Justice Winslow, also at that small forward position, built like a grown man. Physically just can be imposing. And what a competitor and a great motor on this young man.
2-time player of the year in the state of Texas. An outstanding defensive player and a versatile offensive game. Winslow out of Houston. And at 6'6", you see the player profile of Justice Winslow, and you see his numbers in high school, and all those offensive numbers are great.
Those 3 gold medals. That's right. So impressive. That is really impressive.
Was with Billy Donovan's team with the U19 United States team last season.
Tyus Jones and obviously Okafor gets all the credit, but GA, we both think this kid Justice has a chance to be very special because I think he can be one of the great 2-way players. He can score the basketball as well.
Cummings going up top, and Jefferson disrupted that one. So a couple of good defensive plays. Cook running the floor, and the Blue Devils go quickly at a 9-2 lead.
Yeah, and how about Jones, though, having his head up, just a natural point guard. And when you know you're going to get it, you tend to run the floor with just a little bit more energy. And in that time, Cook gets rewarded.
T. Jones has 3 assists already. There's another turnover. And it'll be Duke ball, and the Owls starting to bark at each other a little bit.
And look at that, just delivers it. The defense a little lackluster in their effort in terms of transition there, and Tyus Jones makes them pay.
3rd turnover for Will Cummings of Temple. That's the 4th overall for the Owls. And that's a game they can't afford. Back into Jefferson. Jefferson hounded by Mark Williams and wedges his way in. Okafor secures another possession. Shot clock at 9. And Cook had that one blocked by DeCosi. So the Owls are bringing it defensively in the half-court game. Cummings all the way. And he forced that one up. Winslow. Duke wants to run it. And they've got numbers. There's Quinn Cook for 3. Cleared away by Devontae Watson. Not the pace Temple wants to play here.
No, not necessarily. I mean, they do want to try to get out in transition to get some easy baskets. With the defense of Duke so much more improved from a season ago. But they have to then also transition back defensively to keep Duke out of the open floor.
Coach K's got a line change coming at the next whistle. And there is DeCosi, and he is going to be a key for Temple, not just tonight, but all season. Smitty might be their wild card. Cummings is their leader, but DeCosi's a guy that brings a lot of athleticism and can bring some scoring.
You're talking to their coaching staff, Aaron McKee and Coach Dunkley. They talked about how defensively he's wiry, he's long, but more importantly, he's one of those players that can take the pressure off Will Cummings, can create his own shot off the dribble, and he has a good size, and you can see.
Oh, wow. And so we had a whistle, and then DeCosi gets hit with a whistle.
You know, what happened, though, DeCosi was frustrated because the ball was dead. The whistle had been blown, and right there you see that hit by Winslow. But the officials, as is the case, typically catch the second guy. Temple called for the technical.
Time for Playing for Success, presented by Northwestern Mutual. And take a look at some of the keys tonight, Temple and Duke.
And for me, Temple, I have, can you handle the pressure? Because we understand for Temple Owls, this backcourt, the Duke Blue Devils, they put a lot of pressure on you man-to-man. They overplay the passing lanes, so you can't turn over the basketball. And perimeter excellence for the Temple Owls. They got to be able to knock down some threes. Only 9 for 31 to start the season, GA.
And you've seen already the defensive intensity by Duke, really solid on that side of the floor. That's going to be critical for them moving forward.
So technical free throws here by Grayson Allen. Do a little housekeeping here. So Justice Winslow, there was on the attack by DeCourcy, hands up. They looked at the monitor. The technical belonged to DeCosi. And DeCosi is out. So that's why Duke shoots the technical free throws. You got a full line change here for the Blue Devils with Grayson Allen, Matt Jones, Suleiman, Mosley, and Plumlee all in the game for Duke. But I got to get you guys' opinion on that last play. I'm not sure they saw Winslow going up high with the elbows. They did go to video, the 3 officials, while we were in the timeout. Here's Brown getting some offense off the bench. It's cleared away by Plumlee.
And when you think about it, before we get to that, the depth of this Duke team. Remember, Suleiman was a guy as a freshman, averaged 14 points a game, and now all of a sudden, with the second unit, just speaks to just how much talent the Blue Devils have on that starting 5.
Matt Jones gives it to Allen, who is a sweet shooter, and he knocks down a 3. Smitty, you like the way he shot the ball earlier today, huh?
And GA, I mean, the rotation, being able to shoot the basketball.
Reminds me of Rex Chapman.
It is phenomenal for a young guy that can shoot the basketball, and he's sneaky athletic.
No doubt.
He can go up high.
Won the dunk contest at the high school All-American game. Down in the corner, 3-point and a finish. Jalen Bond playing in his first game for the Owls. He's been out with an ankle injury. And nothing wrong with the wheel there as Matt Jones lines up a wide open 3, and Bond knocked it right out of his teammate's hand.
And I know a lot of great putbacks. there by Bond, and talking with Fran Dunphy before the game, he was excited to get this young man back. He said he is a load. He said, I might even throw him on Okafor a little bit at that center. He can play all three positions on that front line.
Philly native who transferred from Texas is Ojale. So Duke firing up the threes here. They're 2 for 6 from behind the arc, and was attempted, was not. That's a turnover for Temple as Josh Brown throws it away.
And that's the thing that Duke does so well. You know, in college, you don't want to allow teams to run their offense. Defense is all about your ability to disrupt the timing and the spacing of your opponent's offense. Duke, one of the best in the country at not allowing you to get it in your sweet spots.
Suleiman comes up short. And do they recover? They do. Temple will keep the possession. Good effort there by Will Cummings. Cummings coming off a 20-point game. Temple beat Louisiana Tech, a very good team. Seth Davis had him in his top 25. And that was the kind of answer that Temple needed after scoring just 40 points in a win in their opener. They doubled up their output. Where they go offensively is going to be a big question this year for Fran Dunphy.
He does feel like, you know, coming off the 9-win season a year ago, that they're going to be much improved. And he's so matter of fact. He says, how much? I don't know. I don't know. But he said we should be a better group than what we had a season ago.
GA just talked about it. Talking to him, he just said, we got to preach defense, defense. He said we could not get any stops in any categories last year on that end. We were just god awful.
This is one of those lost years. Cummings got hurt. He had a concussion. There's another three by Ojale. And a good hustle over there by Brown. Keeps it alive. And that will go back to Duke. Brown really bringing the energy. They love him off the bench. Josh Brown, a sophomore out of Newark. He's got a lot of friends and family in the building tonight. A pro-Duke crowd here at the Barclays Center. About a short drive from Philly, about 2 hours from the campus at Temple. And there's a whistle. Foul's going to be on Jalen Bond. 14 foul for Temple.
Yeah, I mean, Duke's getting a lot of solid minutes out of this second unit. You know, it's a big luxury for Coach K to be able to do that, and there they forced the turnover against Temple.
So Suleiman travels. And Temple ball here, 13-6 Duke. This is the end of week 1 of the college basketball season, and here are the Blue Devils playing in their 4th game. Impressive win over Michigan State in Indianapolis on Tuesday. Starting the year 3-0, had a couple of blowout wins at home with the Blue Devils, and a roster that features 9 McDonald's All-Americans. A lot of talk about Duke, Kentucky. Obi Anichionya getting off his first shot. Freshman out of Springfield, Virginia. Now Jones comes up short. Now the three-pointer's not falling for Duke. And that'll be going the other way. It'll be Temple ball when we come back. Running with the big boys tonight. Duke 13, the Temple Owls 6.
Duke leading Temple 13-6 here at the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Mike Krzyzewski will be 68 in February, but make no mistake, he still knows how to get after his guys. Was very animated in that last timeout, guys. He's saying right there, rebound like crazy, drive like crazy, defend like crazy. He said they were soft, too many three-point shots. He talked during their shoot-around today about being tough because he knew that Fran Dunphy's players would bring that Philly toughness. He wants his guys to respond.
Absolutely love to see the passion and the fire in Mike Krzyzewski. And you know what? You got to be able to coach your guys and hold them accountable and not allow them to settle for being mediocre. And that's what that exemplified there for me as a coach. And I know you played for a guy that was fiery, and Judd Heathcote. I had the same scenario with Jerry Tarkanian. Your guys respond to that, you know, because it's not a personal attack. You're just trying to not let them settle and not let them be mediocre. Play to the talent that you've been given, and I like to see how his kids respond.
Temple is going to have to answer offensively. A couple of free throws there by Daniel Dingle, because Coach K's team sitting here 4 for 19 from the field. Temple has 4 blocks, getting a few steals. Everything's kind of going right defensively for Temple, but they're still down by 5 points.
But they're competing.
Yes.
That's the one thing I like. They're coming out and they're competing. Nothing's easy for Duke, you can see. And they're forcing them to take a lot of three-point shots, and Okafor hasn't had many touches.
There you go. And I was just about to make the point. They've done a terrific job on one, hit the post defense, but two also in pressuring the post feeders, not allowing those angles where if you watched Okafor play earlier this year, he got so many touches close where he could just turn and finish. Hasn't been able to get into that kind of a rhythm here thus far.
And we got another foul here, so a couple of whistles on Temple on this side of the court. And that's going to be their 6th team foul already. There's 11:04 remaining in this first half. And Josh Brown will have to head to the bench. So Duke with the ball, new shot clock. Starters back in. Coach K going with a line change. Had the full second unit out there. And now the starters have returned. Almost a turnover. Engel has been active with the hands in the passing lanes.
And that's an example. Okafor had established really good position, but the ball pressure on Quinn Cook, they couldn't get the ball inside to him, and that's what you have to have against great post players. Terrific pressure on the basketball.
Cook outside to Winslow, and he and Okafor working the game. Clearing space for Justice Winslow. Man, just hanging in the air. Justice Winslow going strong.
Hey, great. That was special on so many levels. Reason why is he took the basketball on an angle, got into the teeth of the defense, drew the contact, and then still hung and finished.
Back iron, one and done for the Owls. Here comes Duke. They're up 15-8. Not shooting the ball well. And dumping it into Okafor. That's what Krzyzewski wants. That's what he gets. And that lethal combination there, the two freshmen, the package deal. T. Jones and Jamil Okafor.
Tyus Jones is so good, though. That was not an easy pass there as he comes up with the steal.
And on the move, here's Jefferson now from Jones. He's fouled. It counts.
And again, another great delivery by Jones on time. Allowed Jefferson to catch and gather while hitting the contact and still be able to finish. Perfect delivery on that pass.
Tyus Jones with 5 assists already. And looked like Justice Winslow limping to the bench here. So something on the right leg, knee or ankle. We'll see about that. Keep an eye on Justice Winslow. Let's take you back to the last defensive possession by Temple, but Okafor finally getting the ball.
But you see, he had position there, but because the ball pressure on Cook was so good, it didn't allow him that angle to make it. But even this was not an easy play. But again, as a great point guard, Tyus Jones able to handle the pressure and still deliver that basketball on time, on rhythm, where Okafor could just catch and go right into his move.
Also, it helps to have Okafor to be
Well,
that size,
the hands, the ability to develop that post position. But you still, a lot of guys couldn't make that pass that Jones made there. And that's what you got to have against really good defense. You have to be so sound with your decision-making offensively. Tyus Jones put on a clinic on that possession.
Tyus Jones, by the way, this is game 4. 21 assists, 3 turnovers to get his collegiate career started at Duke.
Not bad. You know, he's just,
not to mention he's shooting about 60%.
I was about to say, knocking down every open shot.
Almost perfect basketball. We should have like the QBR in football. We need to have that for the point guards in basketball, because he's almost playing perfect basketball as a freshman to start his career.
And Ichionia 0 for 2. And here come the Blue Devils. Jones finding Suleiman, dumps it down into Okafor. Justice Winslow on the bench with a shoe off. And there's another block. So Temple now with 5 blocks in this game. And Brown, there's a whistle. Brown to go to the free throw line. That's a cause for concern. Retaping
that's
the
no
right
concern
ankle.
right there. That's actually a good sign. That means he's coming back.
Yes.
The fact he's getting that ankle taped on the bench right there, that means he will be back shortly.
Guys in the truck finding where he rolled it. It's the right ankle, remember.
And I'm with GA. If you don't see him walk to the locker room, he's getting retake.
He's coming
That's a
back.
great sign.
Brown hits the first free throw. Back in is Devontae Watson as the freshman Anichi Onya will take a seat. Brown had a quick breather and then right back in. 17 points Monday against Louisiana Tech. That was a career high for Josh Brown. And the lefty knocks them both down.
And they played really well enough defensively, Duke Temple, in this first 10 minutes or so. They just have not been able to get anything going on the offensive end.
Suleiman getting these minutes occupied by Winslow as he's out. Here's Jones. And denied. Good defense there. And one and done for Duke. Devontae Watson's been active in the paint for the Temple Owls.
And this game's been a lot more physical than what we saw in the first contest tonight. Officials are allowing a little bit more activity and contact by both teams.
That was one of the areas that Coach Krzyzewski talked about with Okafor specifically, how he's going to handle a more physical college game. He obviously dominated everywhere he went in high school. Can do the same at the collegiate level, but playing a lot of games, 4 games in 7 days, and a little wear and tear. And that's Michigan State Tuesday, and now Temple here tonight, and another game tomorrow. As DeCosi goes all the way high off the window. Quentin DeCosi with a basket.
It was a nice play there, Smitty, with the finish.
You know, you like what Temple is doing. Good coaching is always needed. When you talk about Fran Duffy, he's doing an excellent job having his team ready defensively.
Dump it down inside. Okafor with 10 on the shot clock. And Jefferson an offensive board, and he is hammered by Josh Brown. Okafor showed all the right moves. He just couldn't finish inside.
But Jefferson with a great job attacking that offensive glass.
Okafor 2 for 9 to start. Free throws coming up for Jefferson and the Blue Devils. You're watching the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic presented by Northwestern Mutual. 2012 Duke, and free throws coming here for Emil Jefferson. This game has that feel, although Temple's playing well and Duke's not shooting that well. Good defensive effort by the Owls. You just feel like Duke can just flash to a run so quickly. Temple's got to find some offense. Jefferson, one of the captains. And Greg, you talked about the 3 freshmen, but really Cook and Jefferson, when things do get rocky, those are the 2 guys that are going to probably be the most vocal and are going to help navigate this team through the season.
And just settle you down. Remember, they really have not been in a contest thus far, averaging over 100 points, and you can see there's a little bit of an injury on Jalen Bond. I don't know if he twisted his ankle, but that's probably the same injury that's had him out. So that would be a huge loss for Fran Dunphy's group, because he really is a difference maker and a load on that front line.
Now Bond just coming back. This is his first game of the season. He hurt his
ankle.
That's
the difference right there. See, that's a concern when they walk to the locker room.
The difference between
he and
Justice Winslow. Winslow back on the floor, matching up with DeCosi. And that one doesn't find the rim. Anichi Onya is now 0 for 3. And he's probably going to see his minutes start to pick up here with Bond out, headed to the locker room. Obina Anichi Onya, the freshman, will have to pick up some big minutes here.
And that was a good look. I mean,
yes.
Good offense, good penetration, kick. He catches, shoots it in rhythm, just unable to knock that down. But I like the overall execution of this Temple squad. They are playing as a cohesive unit.
1-1 here. Both teams in the bonus. And Williams cannot connect. So Duke basketball, 21-12 Blue Devils. 7:20 remaining in the first half.
Temple has a lot of guys with a lot of girth, GA. They don't have a lot of length, but they have a lot of guys with some girth and some base, and some guys that are physical.
The 7-footer Plumlee is Okafor sits, and a turnover for Duke.
And one of the few times you're going to see Quinn Cook with an unforced error there, because he really put Plumlee in a bad position. Had he even caught that, not really where he could be effective with the basketball. So just a bad decision there by the senior.
Williams passes it up. Dingle Well, the Blue Devils don't give him much room to operate. And Dingle trying to create his own. Jefferson right there with him. And a block. Here's Williams in the paint, running into the trees. And now Duke in transition. Winslow, left to right, goes with the right and finishes. This guy is so impressive.
He is, and the other thing I love about him is they don't run anything for him. You know, this is a guy, he'll go get it off the backboard and just go make a play. And he competes, as Smitty talked about earlier, on both ends.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that is just special, being able to get into the paint and finish the way he finishes.
Almost had a steal there. And Ichionia and Plumlee denies that one. Shot clock at 9. And Temple running into a mess here in this possession. Dingle lets a three go. He's got it. And the Owls need that one in a big way as Daniel Dingle hits the three.
And that was actually really good defense and a really good job. First assist on the night for Temple.
Looked like another block, but right there to clean it up is Plumlee. Marshall Plumlee, the 7-footer, got shut out in their game against Michigan State. No points in 9 minutes on the board here tonight. 10-point Duke lead, Temple with the ball. The winner of this one will match up against Stanford in the championship game tomorrow. The loser will take on UNLV. Shot clock single digits. Cummings for 3. And wanting a foul. Thought he got hit on the hand, but that's an air ball. Cummings has really struggled shooting the basketball this year, and they continue as Justice Winslow impressing early again.
Doing a nice job. You're talking about comfortable amongst the point guard, being able to handle, get a little shake, and then to be able to go up and finish. Nice move by Winslow.
And he's so intimidating physically. Like that possession is an example. They didn't want to take that charge.
No, not at all.
They weren't willing to sacrifice the body. And you got that 240 coming at you full speed with bad intentions.
We got Okafor back on the floor now. Missed 7 shots tonight. His first 3 games, he only missed 5 field goals. But in 9 minutes, 7 misses is Tyus Jones. Nope, and a rebound by Quentin DeCozy. Good possession here for Temple. Down 10. Dingle hits the 3 a moment ago. Here's Cummings now, and that's what he does best right there.
How about the job of avoiding the charge there with the body control and the finish? And,
Jones had a rim in and out. And was in the Owls' back pocket before they knew it. On the floor, Cummings saves it.
well, you talked about it, Smitty. Fran Duffy's group.
Yes,
compete. And you know you're going to have to compete when you go up against a Mike Krzyzewski coach team. And
offensive foul. That's going the other way. And guess who's right in the middle of it? Justice Winslow.
he tried to take the charge on Cummings on the last possession. Cummings was a little craftier, but this time Winslow's able to get up there and just, well, that's the possession. I apologize for the possession before. That was Cummings. Yes. And then here's the hustle by Cummings to keep that ball alive and then retain possession for Temple.
Cummings going to have to go to the bench here with 3 fouls, 5 turnovers for the senior point guard. Suleiman on the floor with the other starters for Duke. And Winslow looking for Okafor, finds him and disrupted at the rim, but a foul. And nothing easy coming for Jahlil Okafor. He'll go to the free throw line. Okafor got off to that great start against Michigan State, scored 8 of his 17 points in the first 5 minutes of the game. About as impressive as you can do it to start a game. And Okafor with just his 5th point of the night. NBA Inside Stuff presented by Samsung Galaxy returns tomorrow at noon and 6:30 p.m. Eastern, only on NBA TV. It's got a little bit of a Duke Blue Devil feel, does it not?
What's that?
Grant Hill.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Yes, indeed.
So 6 points for Okafor now. A couple of free throws for him. And back to a 10-point Duke lead. Temple starting point guard Cummings on the bench with 3 fouls. Josh Brown will handle the point. It's hounded by Tyus Jones.
And you see where Duke defensively forces you to catch it, and that's what they want to make you into is a one-on-one basketball team.
Well, Onyeka went up high and came down on the back of Winslow, and that'll be a foul on the freshman. So free throws coming for Duke. Timeout on the floor. The Blue Devils ranked 4th in the country, 3-0 to start the year. Hanging out in Flatbush tonight.
You slow up a little bit, you can develop bad habits. So the speed of the game, and then understand the physicality of the game, because it's so unlike high school and what you can do and what will be done against you.
Well, you look at that Brian and Greg, and what Coach K is talking about is he's obviously a talented player. He obviously has unbelievable size at that high school level and also for college. But you start talking about teams that's gearing up for him, being physical, trying to get him off his game. But when you look at him, he's still poised. Even though he's not having the greatest game, he's not rushing, he's not asking and demanding for the basketball and getting upset with his teammates. And you still look at him before this game, going into this game, shooting 25 for 30.
Yeah.
Takes good shots. What I like about him, experience, it will come. Everybody in high school, no matter how talented you are, no matter how physical, you got to get used to the college level.
Remember what we talked about in the first game? I said you can learn so much about a guy when things aren't going well. You don't know how well he's playing or not playing right now, because his activity level hasn't dropped off on either end, and he doesn't take away from how his team functions, even though maybe he hadn't made shots.
Well, Josh Brown carries the basketball, and a turnover for Temple. And as good as Okafor has been on the floor and what he does on the floor, deserves a lot of the headlines. His backstory is tremendous. Our own Jason King, Bleacher Report, he's with us this weekend here. He wrote a fantastic story on Jahlil Okafor, and you really get to understand what he's all about as T. Jones knocks down a three.
Recognizing basketball situation for a young guy to see the double team coming and to make that pass in the air out to Tyus Jones. That's a beautiful basketball play by Okafor.
Jones has been distributing the ball, gets the favor returned to him. Jones with 5 assists already tonight. And he's working on Brown, who goes with the left. Great take there. Josh Brown with the starting point guard Cummings on the bench with 3 fouls.
Yeah, he's one of those guys in the scouting report. Coach tells you he likes to go left, but he's so herky-jerky. It's just hard to guard guys like that because it's unorthodox.
That's a great point. And it's one of those players where you know he's going left. He knows you know he's going left, and he still can get there.
And the coach is mad at you, saying, take away his left hand. That's just a beautiful move by Brown, getting into the paint and scoring it.
Foul is on Brown. That's trouble now for Temple. That's both of their point guards with 3 fouls as Justice Winslow misses the first free throw. So Brown has 3, Cummings has 3. Temple doing all they can to kind of hang in here, but it could get away from them quickly.
It could, and the problem with 3 as opposed to 2 is even when you get to the second half, you still can't be as aggressive in the first few minutes because you don't want to pick up that fourth. So it's going to affect how you defend and really, when you play Duke, how you play offensively because they're so good with the help D.
Cummings out in front of the pack and a great pass. DeCosi dropped it right in the bucket, and a foul as Cummings will go to the line and a chance at 3.
How about the recognition there? One of the few times where Duke just fell asleep defensively in transition there, and a great find, as you mentioned, B.A. there, by DeCosi for the opportunity of the three-pointer.
Cummings right back in the game with the 3 fouls, and on the breakaway makes it a 3-point play. Cummings has been hitting a lot of free throws this year. Neil Jefferson is back in. Winslow will take a seat.
Great sign for Temple. Jalen Bond is entering the game for the Owls.
Bond went back to the locker room. Looked like he twisted his ankle, tweaked his ankle a little bit. And came back shortly thereafter. Now back in. Okafor draws the double team. Suleiman finding Emil Jefferson. Boy, that's great look basketball by the Blue Devils, and they're up 12.
Yeah, I think that was Matt Jones there on that penetration there, partner, for Jefferson, and was a terrific find, though, for the finish.
DeCozy going strong on Okafor.
Chest to chest. And being able to take that bump against Okafor and finish. That's nice.
Watson one-on-one with Okafor. Now the double comes, and with the left, Jahlil Okafor.
Remember Seth was talking about earlier of watching how Okafor is going to catch and set the defense, not be in a hurry to go read the defense and see what they're going to allow you to do and then make your adjustments accordingly. That was a perfect example there on that possession. And then they forced the turnovers through the Blue Devils. And you see, he waited. He saw the defense wasn't doubling right away, and he had an opportunity to attack. And nice first step there and a beautiful finish by the big fella.
Duke up 12 with the ball, under a minute to go in the first half. Immediately drawing the double team. There's Jones for three. Tyus Jones, little strong. Offensive board. Okafor short. And it's pulled down by Devontae Watson. There's been a presence in the paint, Devontae Watson. There's a turnover. Dingle already got hacked. And Duke the other way. Okafor, and it's blocked. DeCozy with a block. That's the sixth for the Owls. DeCozy can't finish on the other end, but there is Mark Williams. Gathering back the momentum, the Temple Owls. And a couple of guys in foul trouble, but they have wrestled it back to a 10-point deficit.
How about the block?
I mean, Cozy was all over that one. No foul, and then being able to convert on the offensive end.
And really the right play by Cook. I mean, he got the defender up in the air, but the ability to recover there, you can see they're a little bit animated. They believe. They're starting to believe they can compete in this game, and it's been impressive.
36-26. Duke has the lead with 24 to go. Coming up at halftime, Bleacher Report's Adam Lefkoe and Jason King. They are on our studio set here at Barclays Center.
Let me see it.
Adam up there getting his dance off.
Oh, he didn't just
He
do
must
that.
be looking. He's looking forward to the post game. I think a little bit more in the halftime show based on that move.
Good to have our buddies from Bleacher Report here.
I was impressed with that
There
move.
was. You know he's been working on that one. You can tell, right?
I feel like that came natural.
Shot clock is off. Last possession opportunity for Duke. Temple wanted to keep the pace down. It's been kind of a back and forth game. Duke was running early, missing a lot of shots, however. But the score is where the Owls want it. Game clock down to 4. Tyus Jones, DeCozy's on him, and DeCozy got a piece of that. And a block to finish it. That symbolizes what the Owls have been able to do in the first half. 7 blocks for Temple against the 4th-ranked Blue Devils. And a 10-point Duke lead as we hit the halftime locker room. Let's send it over to Seth Davis, who is with Jeff Capel.
Jeff, you knew the Temple was going to come at you and try to be physical, make it a grown man's game. How do you feel about the way your guys have responded?
Well, Temple's awfully tough. Those kids have a lot of pride in their program. You know, they played a little bit harder than us, which is disappointing. We've missed shots. We got great looks early, and we missed some shots that we normally make, and I think that's knocked us back a little bit.
Speaking of missed shots, Jahlil Okafor 3 for 13 in the first half. Came in about an 80% field goal shooter. How do you get him going?
Well, he's got to play stronger. That's the main thing. He's got to play through contact. He's got to get angry. He's got to get angry and finish those plays.
All right, go make him angry. Back to Brian.
All right, Seth, thanks. Thanks to Jeff Capel, associate head coach at Duke. Halftime here at the Barclays Center. Stay with us. It's the nightcap of our Coaches versus Cancer Classic on True TV. We'll check in with Adam and Jason of Bleacher Report when we continue from Brooklyn. Could be up in this game, and yet they are down 10. 10 for 29. Their field goal shooting. They're holding Duke to just 12 for 39. How about 6 blocks by the Temple Owls? Ready for the second half. Before we get started a moment ago, Seth Davis, he caught up with Fran Dumphy.
Fran, you did a good job defensively. Struggled again to get some points on the board. How are you going to fix that in the second half?
I wish I do, Seth. They're pretty good on the defensive end. We didn't do a good job of running our offense. we're almost solely going one-on-one. We need to pass the ball a little bit, make some good cuts, slip some screens. There's a lot of switching going on. We need some slipping going on.
Now, you know, he's in that locker room trying to figure out ways to get Okafor going. How are you going to counter that?
We'll see that too. He's such a really good player down inside there. I thought we did a pretty decent job on him. I thought Watson did a pretty good job and rebounded it well as well.
All right, good luck in the second half, Fran. Back to you, Brian.
Now to Fran's point, just 2 assists for the Temple Owls, but GA, I think it's safe to go ahead and give Temple the win in the want-to category in the first half.
That's a great point. And part of the problem when you play against teams with great pressure, their objective is to not let you run your offense. They basically want to force you to play one-on-one basketball. So you need tremendous discipline offensively if you're Temple to be able to still execute offensively against that pressure.
A couple of things as we start half number 2 to keep in mind. Greg made the point in the first half. You've got the 2 guards in foul trouble for the Owls, both with 3 fouls. Will Cummings, the starter, Josh Brown, the backup. We'll see how that has an effect on Temple. And Smitty, for the Owls, where does the offense come from if it comes from anyone at this point of the second half?
Well, I think it has to be Will Cummings. I think he has to drive to the basket and sometimes not try to finish amongst the trees, dish the basketball. They just have to make shots. But if you're Fran Duffy, you got to be happy on a defensive end what they're doing. Also looking at them playing Jahlil Okafor, he was 3 for 13, but what was impressive for me, he only has 2 free throw attempts, so they played him without fouling. They did a nice job.
Offensive foul on Mark Williams there as he clears the deck. Any thought about fatigue, especially with the 3 freshmen for Duke and playing their 4th game in 7 days?
I think so. I think when you start to look at their jump shots, you see there a lot of them are short. And I think when you look at their shooting percentage, they were shooting 47, almost 48% coming to this game, and right now they're struggling. They're like 3 for 12 from the three-point line.
But an extremely physical game here. And there is DeCosi, and they're going to need offense from DeCosi. He's got to start making some shots. They rely on him heavily. Jefferson running the floor and fouled from behind Watson.
Great find again by Jones, and Jefferson running that floor. Watson does pick up the foul there, but a great contest. But how about just threading the needle there for Jefferson and gets to the free throw line. That's the beauty of playing with a point guard too. You're going to get those easy ones that you don't have to work for just by running the floor.
Tyus Jones with 5 assists in the first half. As Jefferson hits the free throw. NCAA March Madness returns March 17th. TBS, CBS, TNT, and right here on True TV. You can watch every game live, including the Final 4 semifinals on TBS. Don't miss all the action this March. And 1 out of 2. I beg your pardon, 0 for 2 for Jefferson, but that's going to stay in the possession of the Blue Devils. Missed opportunity there for Temple.
And a great hustle by Winslow just to fight for that one and to force it off of Temple and get another possession.
Dingle is hounding Winslow, and they set it up. The senior, the lone scholarship senior, Quinn Cook. Jefferson daring him to shoot. And the lefty Winslow will fire it up. Not there. And Temple with the basketball trying to cut it to single digits. And Cummings bounces that right off his foot. Another turnover for Will Cummings. That is his 6th turnover of the night. Just 1 assist for him. Fran Duffy talked about the Owls not sharing the basketball. Just 2 assists so far. A lot of one-on-one play for Temple, and that's usually a bad combination when you're matching up against the talent of Duke. Okafor down inside. That's his happy spot on that right block, and he gets a friendly roll.
That was quite the collision yes. on that possession between he and Watson.
Jeff Capel told Seth right before we go into the break, Jahlil has got to be stronger, got to be tougher in the paint. And that was a move reflecting that. Cozy had a block, looked like Cook got a piece. And here's Dingle, and a little hesitation, so Daniel Dingle with a bucket.
I like the way Dingle's played, GA. He's been very solid. Making some good plays on the offensive end, also defensively doing a nice job and fundamentally sound blocking out each and every time.
Okafor off the window, no, pulled down by Mark Williams. Dorsey going one-on-one and a foul.
And that's where you want to look to attack early in transition. Check out this collision. I guess there's no contact there because I sure didn't hear a whistle on that play. How about the strength on that one to finish?
Did you see Watson's
Oh
head
my goodness!
kind of
Yeah,
back?
I love that view in slow motion
Yes.
too. You see all the body movement.
Foul is on Quinn Cook. On the shot clock. Temple just trying to get some kind of flow offensively. You got to give a lot of credit to Duke as well. They are tough defensively, and Williams throws it away.
They do a terrific job again of just extending you. You know, your offense, when you practice your offense, you're catching the ball in certain spots. They make you catch it 2 or 3 feet away from that, which then throws the whole timing of everything off, and then that's what speeds you up and gets you in that habit of trying to go one-on-one.
Double team comes for Okafor. And here's Cook, long range 3. No, Jones with the rebound. Almost lost it out of bounds. Cook will fire another one for 3. No, another chance, and Jefferson this time. 3 opportunities for Duke, and they cash it in. And a 12-point lead for the Blue Devils.
And while they haven't shot it well, Duke, they had 12 offensive rebounds in that first half, and that was an example there. They were able to get 2 that led to 2.
Just love the way Jefferson's, his intensity, his approach to the game. You can see his eyes. He's into this basketball game, and he's getting down into a stance.
Jefferson ends up on the point guard, Will Cummings. Shot clock at 4. And Cummings, tough shot over the length of Jefferson. And there's Justice Winslow coming from behind to get that board. He'll run it himself. Gives it to Jones for 3. No. Boy, the three-pointers are not falling for the Blue Devils. They are now 3 for 16 from behind the arc.
And, you know, like Smitty talked about the fatigue. Also, it's the law of averages, too. They've shot it so well to start that no one's going to shoot it at that clip the entire season. You see the effort and the energy here by Jefferson, just in the right place at the right time. And Duke, while struggling, still in control.
Be able to see you here at the Barclays, but hope you're here real soon. And keep getting better. I know you're fighting it like crazy, and the attitude you've displayed has been amazing for all those people who are fighting to beat this dreadful disease. Thanks for doing that.
And a direct message from Coach K to Craig Sager. They have roped off an area here behind the Duke bench. Sager sidelined for a lot of the Cancer donors right out of the timeout. Justice Winslow gets it down on the block and scores, and it's 42-28 Duke. This is the championship rounds of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Stanford beat UNLV in our opening game. And Duke trying to join them in the championship game tomorrow as Winslow fires up an air ball, and Okafor spills into the press. Looks like he's all right. Send it over to Seth Davis.
Yeah, in the wake of that air ball, Duke now 3 for 17 from three-point range. You might think that Mike Krzyzewski's message to his guys in that timeout was to stop shooting them, but he said exactly the opposite. He was very pleased. He said, we're playing really well. Don't worry about the shots. They'll keep falling, so you can expect Duke to keep firing as long as they keep defending.
That has been a big story tonight. We talk a lot about Temple and their lack of offense, but Duke deserves a lot of the credit. There's an open shot missed by DeCozy, and he's had a few that way. Going up top, Okafor had it disrupted by Cummings. Gets his own and puts it away.
I really love that, to have the ability to catch Greg with soft hands and then to gather himself and the patience to use his big body, clear out some space for an easy layup.
You know, what Seth was talking about, the thing that Coach K likes the most is that his group hasn't allowed the missed shots to affect the way they've competed on the defensive end in particular. And listen, you're going to have nights where shots don't fall, but that doesn't mean you can't have success, and you don't want to stop playing the right way, which they have done pretty consistently throughout this game.
Dingle gives Temple another big basket. And they're in the danger zone right now. It feels like Duke could be poised for a run as Cook lines up a 3. Quinn Cook drops a triple.
And the word I think with this group, they're relentless. They really just, they value every possession on both ends. That's just impressive to see, and that's a really wild finish there by Cummings.
Cummings with the left at a 15-point game. So a couple of buckets, Dingle and Cummings, to keep Temple with a fighting chance, but Duke looks poised to put the hammer down. Okafor getting active here tonight. Okafor now with 12 points to go along with 7 rebounds. Welcome you back to Coaches versus Cancer Classic, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Great to have you with us on True TV. Second game of our doubleheader, and the Duke Blue Devils starting to pull away here with 13:55 to go. So a lot of scoring earlier. Duke sharing the basketball in their first 3 games. Tonight, not shooting well, but still sharing the ball. T. Jones has been very impressive distributing the basketball.
Yeah, they haven't shot well, but they've played extremely well, Smitty. I mean, they've really contesting on every possession defensively, attacking that offensive glass. The ball movement's still been there, but to DA's point, they just haven't had that consistency, which is typically the case when it comes to shooting that 3 ball, but everything else has been on the mark.
And I totally agree, Greg. I also want to give Temple a little credit defensively. They made it tough on them. Nothing easy. Obviously, they're still executing, but Temple is coming out and competing and making things a little difficult for the Duke Blue Devils.
And still plenty of time from Temple's standpoint. They also have struggled from an offensive standpoint, and they do have firepower. If you can get going with Cummings on the perimeter and DeCozy, get yourself back in this thing.
DeCozy just got the foul on Winslow. That's the second foul on DeCozy. Well, for Duke tonight, Okafor 5 for 16. He's missed 11 shots. Cooks hit 3 out of 9, just hit a big 3 a moment ago. And Tyus Jones tonight is 1 for 7. That one was a 3-pointer. Duke is 4 for 18 from behind the arc. They've missed 14 threes tonight. Jones to Okafor, and that's going to be something you hear a lot of this year. These two work so well together.
Teammates, Team USA, and you talked about Jones. Only the 1 field goal, but how about the 6 assists and no turnovers? 7 assists, and no turnovers here tonight.
Winslow pushes it. Here's Jones. Kicks it to the corner. Now Cook. Back out. And Winslow a little strong. Jefferson keeps it alive. And that's off the shin of Winslow, and it'll be Temple basketball.
Take a look here. Just a quick hitter. Little dribble handoff there that gets it right back to him. And knows how he can catch it and go right away. Doesn't have to gather. He puts the ball in a position where Okafor can make a quick and decisive move before the defense can recover.
Also great timing on the pass for Jones. Put it right on the money, didn't take that extra dribble. And like you said, 2 freshmen hooking up. We might hear that for a long time.
At least all season.
At least a season, yeah.
Cummings still playing with the 3 fouls. 12:40 left. And just not much room to work for the Temple Owls. Cummings goes, and Okafor fouls him. Cummings not afraid of the big man. And gets the call. Cummings will go to the line, and Temple is at their best when Cummings is doing this.
Yeah, I tell you, that was pretty good defense. Just the hand, just at the end. You see how it just comes down enough there. That was a good call there by the official.
Cummings had 20 points in his last game. 13 of those came from the free throw line. NBA on TNT returns Thursday, December 4th. Got the Cavs and the Knicks, followed by the Pelicans and the Warriors. Action begins at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TNT.
I'll be at that game.
Which one?
Which one?
I'm doing that, the Cavs-Knicks.
All right. We'll look forward to that.
Well, I don't know if the Knicks going to look forward to it the way they've been playing here early on. Well, actually, even the Cavs, they got hammered tonight by Washington, who's playing some really good basketball.
Justice Winslow knocks the 3 down. He's just showing all of his skill tonight. He's played tough. He's a great defender. He's hit a couple of threes. He's worked well in the paint.
Not a good shot for the Temple Owls. Kind of forced shot in offense, and Is that the first turnover?
Yeah,
for Jones?
first one. He forced that one. First one of the night to go along with 6 assists. And in transition on the other end, Will Cummings.
That's an important basket for Cummings and Temple. Again, 17 points, just under 12 minutes. Just kind of stringing together stops if you're Temple. And again, trying to get out in transition. That's where they've had some success at times.
Jefferson got caught too far underneath. Tough pass from Winslow, and a foul, and that's going the other way. So, beg your pardon. Timeout on the floor. It'll stay with Duke.
Look at Winslow squaring up the lefty, knocking this one down. Beautiful jump shot. Splash.
Duke stepping out of bounds their last possession, so Temple basketball, or rather Temple basketball here on the turnover by Duke. 11:22 remaining in regulation here. Winner looking for a matchup with Stanford, and a steal by Cook, and he's fouled. Jalen Bond with the foul.
And how about the rotation there defensively? When Cook read that double team on the baseline and knew that the outlet pass was in a position where he could take advantage and create the turnover.
Well, Temple has battled a 10-point game at the half. They've been terrific defensively, but Duke, with so much talent, has been able to keep them at arm's length. A chance to add to their lead here as Cook finds Okafor. And Jalil, wow, what a move. I mean, when you see moves like that, that's when the eyes open, and you're talking about incredible skill from the big man.
How about going left with that play? That was extremely impressive there.
And he altered that shot of DeCozy.
That's a nice find.
Fires to the corner, and Cook hits the three. Tyus Jones, another assist. That's his 7th. Setting up Cook, who has 11 now. He's at 3 3-pointers. And Duke starting to put the hammer down. Felt the wrath of their coach, no question, at halftime. And they have come out the aggressor in half number 2, and this pro-Duke crowd enjoying every minute of this one.
You watch Okafor with the nice footwork to get around and to finish with his left hand. I mean, that is impressive for a 6'11" guy to get through and then be able to finish, GA, with the offhand and make it look like a George Gervin finger roll.
It did, and you can see Watson was not ready for him to go left, was expecting him to go left shoulder. Instead, he hits him with that quick move and able to finish there. So he and they, Duke, have been really impressive. They keep coming at you, and then eventually they try to break your spirit, and that's what you've seen here in the last 4 minutes. They've been able to kind of open this thing up just because of how focused they've been on both ends.
Missed 10 shots in the first half, 4 for 5 here in half number 2, 16 points. Jalil Okafor goes to the bench for Duke. That brings back in Marshall Plumlee. And Uchionia back in for Temple. Halfway through the second half. Well, and every shot contested. That's going to be a whistle on Suleiman. Suleiman just back in, picks up the foul. Free throws coming up for the Temple Owls.
His third, team's third.
Josh Brown, 4 out of 5 from the line, and Temple's win over La Tech on Monday. And he misfires on the first. Well, the next generation of performance competition is on True TV. Fake Off, all new Mondays at 10/9 Central, only on True TV. Temple with 44 turnovers this season. Been a big part of the story here tonight. Temple has 15 on the night tonight, as Brown hits 1 out of 2. Temple's going to look a lot different in about a month. They're going to get a couple of players who are not eligible currently eligible.
That's a nice move by Suleiman.
Well, Temple has Jesse Morgan, a transfer out of UMass. He'll be eligible beginning December 18th. And Devin Coleman, another Philly guy who transferred from Clemson. So this will have a different look. They'll have some depth in the backcourt. Plumlee rips that rebound away from DeCozy. Cook, a spin, and DeCozy knocked it away, and that's going to be out of bounds on Temple, I think, off the leg of Bond. Duke ball here, 59-36.
I'm impressed with Cook, just to be able to lead this team with energy, being able to offensively knock down shots, and now you see his role has changed. He started off as a 2-guard, now he's playing a point, and he's understanding I'm not going to keep shooting, trying to facilitate and get other guys some good looks.
And think about it also, I mean, he's had to play with 3 one-and-done guys who were guards, and you know, his role, I should say 2 one-and-done, and then you bring in another highly talented McDonald's All-American in Tyus Jones, and yet he's still been able to figure out a niche where he can be impactful and listen, a catalyst in a lot of ways for how far this team's going to go.
They talk about elite teams in college basketball, guys, and you look at Duke, Kentucky, they are so talented. Who else finds their way on that list for you guys?
I like Louisville a lot. I mean, you know, not a lot of people are talking about them, but Rozier and Jones in the backcourt and Montrezl Harrell is an animal on that front line.
Yes.
And Matt Thiang, I think, has gotten better. I think they might have got away with a foul on that triple there.
Suleiman wanted one, didn't get the call.
Wisconsin, to me, could be, we're talking about Smitty, I know you're very high on them as well. Wisconsin is a terrific team. They bring back, I mean, heck, they could have won it all last year. I mean, that game against Kentucky was epic in the Final Four.
Well, they feel like they should have won it all. They've got a little chip on their shoulder, the Badgers. As happy as they were to make it to the Final Four, the first in the Bo Ryan era, they feel like they've got unfinished business.
Well, you talk about they have inside out, nice. Cozy. But then they have stability at the guard position. They have Sam Decker that has grown 2 inches over the summer, and then coached by Bo Ryan.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about coach, veterans, skill, and you talked about Arizona as well.
I was just going to say, Arizona, as much as we talked about, Arizona might be the best of the bunch. I mean, they are, nice shot there. Matt Jones knocking down that triple. But yeah, Arizona, man. Brandon Ashley's healthy this year. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. They're super fresh. And Stanley Johnson, who's terrific. And T.J. McConnell, the transfer senior point guard, has just played terrific this year. Averaging 8.6 rebounds, 6 assists with all that firepower. So watch out.
Well, Duke figures to be right in the conversation. They have a 22-point lead. Opening game of the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic presented by Northwest. Coaches vs. Cancer Classic on True TV. Brian Anderson with Greg Anthony and Steve Smith. Seth Davis, our reporter. And a 22-point Duke lead. Temple with the basketball. Temple trying to hang in there, a team that is hoping to make a run and get the pieces put back together in the American Athletic Conference. A dreadful year last year, just 4-14 in conference play. Suleiman got caught in the air. Cummings with the steal. And he'll give it up to DeCozy. 3-on-1 break for Temple, and they convert.
Just haven't been able to get enough of those plays where they can create some transition opportunities off of their defense.
Just 7 points off turnovers for the Owls. And a chance to add 2 more here. Brown taking on Jefferson and scores, and a foul. Wow. Josh Brown, crafty with the left.
And what's going to frustrate Coach K on this is I'm sure he was thinking of not having to come back with his core guys, thinking about tomorrow night, but because of this little run here, and there's still 6 20 to go in the game. So just a nice finish with the contact there by Brown. He's going to have to come back with his big guns and try and seal the deal.
Winslow and Okafor back on the floor. Josh Brown, who scored 13 of his 17 points in Temple's last game in the second half.
Good rebound.
Offensive board, but blocked by Okafor. And Ichionya got denied, and that's going to be a foul on Justice Winslow. So we're talking about the top teams in the country. And GA and Smitty looking at Kentucky. They're off to a 4-0 start. Duke, chance to go to 4-0 here tonight as well. How about the Longhorns?
The Longhorns I've got a chance to be special. I mean, huge loss for them, Smitty, losing Isaiah Taylor out 4 to 6 weeks, I guess, with that sprained wrist. But that's a team that, you know, they returned basically everybody from a year ago. And you know what? Rick Barnes had a similar situation to what Dave Rice had with UNLV. He cleaned house before last season, brought in a whole new crew of kids that have great character, tremendous work ethic. And boy, has it paid dividends for them, a top 10 team this season.
You know, Brian and GA, even though they lost this game, I thought Kansas, you know, they got an onslaught against Kentucky, but I think at the end, this team is going to be pretty good. They're a solid basketball team, and I think down at the end, they'll be okay.
You know, I was in Lawrence last week, and so I got to spend some time with Bill itself and their group, and went to their practice. They're going to be good. We just sometimes, we saw what, you know, when you have that many young guys and they're going to be put in positions where they haven't been yet, it takes some time to get that familiarity, that confidence, and that comfort level. But if there's anybody that's going to get it out of you, it's going to be Bill Self. And much the same what I think Michigan State. I think you'll see when you come January, when you see Michigan State and Kansas, they're going to be completely different than what we're seeing here early on. And they're still going to have a legitimate chance to get to the Final Four.
All right, let me throw another team out there for you. And Seth Davis is jumping over the table to get in on this conversation. But Seth, talk to me about Gonzaga right now.
Well, I don't want to be like, you know, Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown, because it seems like Gonzaga's, you know, really good this time of year, and they get into the conference play, not always challenged as much. And, you know, we see all these other mid-major programs, guys, VCU, George Mason, Butler, Wichita State breaking through to the Final Four. I think if any of Mark Few's teams can do it, it's this one, because they have the size, they have the experience in the backcourt, and they have a very special freshman coming off the bench in Domantas Sabonis at 6'11", kind of like a Jalil Okafor in terms of excellent fundamentals, can score around the rim. This might be Mark Few's year, although I obviously just jinxed him.
That's a good call. And really, when you start to look at the landscape of college basketball, you start to pit the teams with the talent, the young talent like Duke, Kentucky, and then some of these other teams that are putting together these programs of guys who have been in the program 3 and 4 years. And you look at Wisconsin and Gonzaga and a number of the other mid-majors that Seth mentioned. But Duke, excellent move to the glass, Will Cummings.
And we talk all of a sudden now 14 points, still 5.5 minutes. Momentum is a hard thing to recover. And Duke right now trying to get back that mojo, if you will, that they had during that stretch where they took control of the game.
Approaching 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Big defensive possession for Temple, and Okafor can't get it to go, and a stop for the Owls. And they climb a little closer here. We'll see. Down inside, DeCosi got a mismatch in there, but Okafor comes to clean it up, stays in bounds. And here's Cook. Head up. He'll take it himself. High arcing shot, knocks it down. Just when Duke needed a big bucket, they get it from their senior.
Yeah, but also that big defensive play, Brian. That was the key there. Okafor comes over for the block, because they would have had that easy deuce there with a chance to cut it to 10.
Felt like Okafor could have thrown that one 10 rows deep. Instead, it stayed in play, and it ended up in a bucket for the Blue Devils in transition.
It's the first time I saw in this game, Greg, that he came over aggressively to come block a shot. That's what I saw in that play for Okafor.
Brown runs into a wall, and Winslow, DeCosi for 3, not there. He's struggled shooting the ball tonight, DeCosi. He's had some looks inside, but nothing from distance in this game. "4 minutes remaining in regulation, and a whistle and a foul on Temple. Onichi Onya gets the foul as Winslow with the take.
Nice job by Will Cummings to get into the lane to finish, but this is the play we were impressed with. To come over, Okafor, keep it in play, nice block, and that led to this bucket by Cook. He always hit timely buckets for Duke.
Cook with 13 points. Okafor is the team leader with 16 as Winslow knocks down the free throw. He has 14. Justice Winslow, native Texan, in his first year with Duke. The freshman has been impressive tonight. 15 points for Winslow, 6 of 8 from the free throw line.
He gives them that edge. You know, he just gives them a toughness that they haven't had for a few years there. Cummings much more aggressive here at attacking early in the shot clock.
That'll be a block, and that'll be free throws coming up for Will Cummings. Duke keeping the Owls at arm's length. Brooklyn, New York in the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Back in Brooklyn, free throws coming up for Will Cummings. And hits the first. True TV will make you believe the unbelievable, the Carbonaro effect. All new Thursdays at 10/9 Central, only on True TV.
The Carbonaro effect.
The Carbonaro effect. I like the
a lot
Anthony
of syllables.
66-50. Duke up 16 with 3:40 remaining in regulation. Temple made a mini run, but Duke immediately pushes it back up. Well, looking forward to the matchup tomorrow if Duke finishes things off here.
I am
We
as
got
well.
Duke and Stanford.
Again, could not have been more impressed with how Stanford looked nice in the stair.
Quinn Cook high off the glass.
He is
Oh,
really
sweet. He's having a good night, huh?
And he's
Great night.
He's playing like a senior too. You know, he's accountable. He's going to come out and show up and set the tone for his team.
Cook with 15. Well, Stanford and their head coach, Johnny Dawkins, it's going to be his first ever matchup against his alma mater. That's hard to believe, but his first one, 7th year at Stanford, and one of Coach K's favorites. And they're going to go at it tomorrow, and a lot of intrigue with that one.
Yeah,
Stanford,
Jalen
very good
Bond,
team.
not to cut you off, but Jalen Bond just fouled out of the game. But you're right, that one is going to be interesting. It's funny, you couldn't really ask Coach K or Johnny about it because both were so focused on tonight. And that's one reason why both have had so much success. You know, they don't allow themselves to get out of the present. You got to focus on what is in front of you. And they probably still won't think about it until after the game.
It's going to be a nice matchup.
It is.
Stanford players get after it. You have Chase and Randall being able to handle the pressure of the Duke guards. Then you have some bigs down there. But I'm also looking forward to see how UNLV responds against this Temple team.
I'll tell you what, they're better because Temple's physical.
Yes.
They, you know, like UNLV, they do struggle to score, but they do have some skill, and they really get after it defensively.
That'll be our opener tomorrow, the consolation game with UNLV and Temple. Duke Stanford making up the championship if Duke finishes off the Owls here. Spin by Brown and gets his own offensive putback.
He can just score. Yeah. I mean, bad shot, being able to recover, gets the offensive rebound and put it back in the hole.
Brown with 9 tonight. And a push. Brown sending Cook out of bounds and gets hit with the foul.
I would tell you that was a senior move.
Yeah.
A little bit of a flop and understanding the situation. And the referee bought into this one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
2 flops.
he got him on the second. He got him on the second flop. Yeah, luckily they're in college because they in the NBA they fine you. I wonder if they dock some of your scholarship for flopping in college.
Well, add some more credits.
Yeah,
You gotta go to extra class.
That's true. Get an acting credit.
The senior Quinn Cook out of D.C. played his high school ball at Oak Hill Academy. And another good night tonight for Cook, who goes for 17 at this point. Averaged 11+ last year, had 19 against Michigan State, and that included 6 assists in that win over the Spartans on Tuesday in Indianapolis. Williams for 3. Nope. And it's Tyus Jones with the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go here. Enjoyed this night. A couple of lopsided ball games, but it's good to get the college basketball season off and running. We're a week into it now. Opened up last Friday.
And it's always good because, you know, think about early in the season, you get an opportunity to see how good you can be or how bad you can be in the case of what we saw with UNLV earlier tonight. We saw Kansas earlier, but you still don't quite know who you are. I always felt like you don't really get to feel that until you start having those true road games. You get in the conference play, a few of the matches where you actually go on the road and play in a hostile environment.
Josh Brown fouled out. Second Owl to foul out.
Greg and Brian Temple's going to, looks like obviously lose this game, but I'm impressed the way they came out and competed. And if they can play at this high level, obviously with some of the players there get active, and then also there get a little bit more confidence. They came out and competed defensively, and that's what Aaron McKee and Coach Fran Duffy was talking about. They wanted to see them compete on the defensive end.
You know, if you're a Temple fan as well, there's a Philly flavor with this team as well.
Starts with Aaron McKee.
Yep,
absolutely. First season with the Temple Owls. Unbelievable career at Temple, Philly native, and a big-time pro career he had. I think he's going to definitely help out this Temple.
Remember when he was at Temple, Eddie Jones, I talked to Eddie Jones earlier, his former teammate in college as well. I tell you, that was as good a wing combination as you're going to see in college basketball.
Plumlee got the block there. 7-footer back in. Oh, look at that conference, the American Athletic Conference, the defending national champs, UConn. At the top of the list, you would think. SMU, you're kind of wondering what SMU is going to be this year. They lost to Indiana yesterday. Cummings with the bucket for the Owls. Cincinnati will be good. See what you get out of Memphis. Well, let's see if Fran Dunphy and the Owls can be a factor once again in the AAC. Minute 27 remaining in regulation.
It's fun.
Well, tomorrow on True TV, don't miss the consolation and championship games of the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, all presented by Northwestern Mutual. So UNLV and Temple, and then we'll have Stanford and Duke. 7 p.m. we're on the air. Adam and Jason from Bleacher Report will get us started. And then the second game approximately 9:30 Eastern. All of it on True TV. Great to be with you guys once again.
It's good to see you.
For this tournament.
You know, you're busy all summer doing baseball.
I'll get a chance to hang out with you.
Yeah.
No, you guys are all
some baseball.
golfing and hanging out at the beach. Come sit in the booth with me anytime at the ball yard. I'd like to get you guys in the cage a little bit. Let's see that swing.
Nah.
I played in high school. I love baseball.
I love it too. Watch.
Yeah, I watch it more now. I don't tend to play many sports anymore.
That's right.
Getting a little long in the tooth.
Just watching sports. You got a son that's a player too. I'm looking forward to watching him grow.
He's got a chance.
He's got a
my
chance.
little
He's on the radar.
knuckleheads here tonight. He's here watching.
It's just great to get a chance to see your kids.
Yeah.
Something. Play sports and compete. Well, Greg, how are you as a fan in the stands?
I've gotten much better as he's gotten much more in control of his emotions. But it's tough though, because you know, when it's your kids, you want so much for them to do all the right things, and you forget that you didn't do all the right things.
I mean, watching my son, I know sometimes I have to go all the way at the top.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen fouled, and the Owls not going down without a fight here, still playing tough. Interesting guy to watch this year, Grayson Allen, and let loose a three-pointer earlier tonight. Great shooter, great athlete, a lot of positive talk around Grayson Allen. Had got a whole lot of playing time. He did come out in the opener for Duke, scored 18 points, backed that up with a 9-point game, and only played 1 minute.
But he has a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
As a shooter, just watching him fundamentally sound. Reach that L, watch the follow through.
Well, Duke going to run away with this one, a 20-point lead as we wind it down here at the Barclays Center. Enjoying the basketball, getting the season going in this first month. Also remembering a great cause while we're here to raise awareness and to raise funds for cancer research. And we'll send our best to our colleague Craig Sager and all those fighting the battle. And that's the real important reason we gather together here at the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. And these two coaches, Fran Dunphy and Mike Krzyzewski, so instrumental in the emergence of this charity as they come together. And that will do it. The Duke Blue Devils, a 20-point win over the Temple Owls, and a date with Stanford tomorrow in the championship game of this Coaches versus Cancer Classic. Temple fought hard. Their roster is going to change in about a month. It'll be a different looking team. And we'll see how they match up tomorrow against UNLV. Okafor did not disappoint after a tough first half. Came back, scored 8 points in the second half. He finished with 16 and 8 rebounds. Quinn Cook led the Blue Devils with 17 tonight. And Will Cummings with 18 leading the way for Temple. So it's all set. It'll be UNLV and Temple tomorrow in our opener. Stanford and Duke will play for the title. Johnny Dawkins against Mike Krzyzewski. And the first time they've matched up in the Dawkins era. Let's check in with Seth Davis, standing by with Quinn Cook. Go ahead, Seth.
All right, Quinn, not the prettiest win, perhaps, especially in the shooting category. How difficult was for the team to fight through seeing the three-pointers not going down, but still playing very well on the defensive end?
It was tough. It was tough. You know, we were fortunate in our first 3 games. You know, our offense was clicking on all cylinders. Our shots were going down. And today, you know, Temple made us work. And Coach got after us at halftime, and guys responded defensively in the second half, and which formed to great shots in the second half. So it was great win for us.
Now, you are an old man, but you got some young freshmen in that locker room. This is going to be the first time they've played back-to-back games like this caliber competition. How do you get them ready for tomorrow as the team leader?
Move on. You know, we've been here before, myself, Emil, Rashid, you know, so we're going to help these young guys out. You know, we got to flush this game, you know, take the good, take the bad, you know, coach will get out there some film, and, you know, we got to get ready for a great Stanford team tomorrow.
See you tomorrow night. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
Well, the guys talked Quinn Cook at the outset, and it proved to be the guy who settled it down for the Duke Blue Devils. That's a wrap for tonight. Now remember, Adam and Jason from Bleacher Report are back in a moment. That's coming up next, the post-game show after the Duke Blue Devils win handily 74-54 over the Temple Owls. Stay right there, everyone.